Well, good morning all. Day 24 of Rona. Beautiful day, a little bit of cloud, sunny most of it, no rain forecast. There's a couple of surfers back on 25th still, some walkers and their dogs. Got a few pippies yesterday, going to duck down and have a fish today, see if I can catch some whiting. Went for a swim and had the goggles on and saw quite a few whiting and some black bream as well. So bit of dart, but anyway, might get some dinner with a bit of fishing later. The full moon's starting to wane now, and tides aren't as high and low as before. But other than that, a nice day. You can get wet, give it a go. Signing off from the Surf Report. Hi guys, this is a pretty cool thing that my wife Joanne found out about. It's called iNaturalist. They do it all around the world. They've got one here in Australia. You basically can sign up. There's an app you can download to make it easy. This is just from the web. And you go around your garden looking for really cool anything, any bugs or living fauna, take photos of it, send it in, and it all gets logged and it gets identified. If you want information about it, they'll find that out. Otherwise, they'll give you information that you need, or they'll add it to the database and add new species that you may find in your garden. Good for the kids to get out and check out what's going on. You can see you've got 18,000 there observers in Australia doing it. And just might be fun getting the kids out of the house, but in your own backyard and seeing what the critters are. So you record your observation, you share with fellow naturalists by downloading it, discuss anything you want to know or share, and then all that gets contributed to Australia's sort of total biodiversity sort of categories, I suppose. So a few things there you can see which are sort of fun to do. So yeah, check it out, iNaturalist. Here's a couple of caterpillars crawling around the house, turning into butterflies later on. They've been chewing some of the weeds around the side of the house. And a few lady beetles, which we found also in the morning sun. You buggered off. And a little skink here running down through the rocks. And yeah, there he goes, little fella. We'll see him over the white pipe shortly. There he is. He's a little guy just going for his morning jog. And a very small spider in the spider web there glistening in the sun. It's extremely small, couldn't focus on it. It was that small. It was pretty cool. And then climbed up the top of the trees here on this umbrella tree. And a small, will come in focus shortly, this small little cool looking striped little bug of some sort. Now there's the old lady beetle as well, just cruising around. And there's a few other bugs on this plant as well that sort of fly in. Yeah, these two there that came up, they just flew into screen. And they're not lady beetles, but they've got these funny little dots on them. A bit hard to find. A bunch of aphids, and they're being devoured by the ants on them. They were very failing citrus trees. A couple of these cool spiders, I think they're called St. John's spiders, I think, or they're sort of the crucifix. They make that sort of cross in their web. Pretty cool yellow, sort of fluoro yellow bodies with those guys. A bunch of ants climbing up into the base of my staghorn. Heaps of ants everywhere doing their little thing. And here is our kale plant, totally devoured by grasshoppers. A bit of a disaster that. But Jo, I think, likes feeding grasshoppers more than she likes eating kale, so we let them run wild and totally decimated that plant. Anyway, that's just it. iNaturalist, check it out. Kids might enjoy it. Cheers. Here's another option, guys. Just tuck out in the yard, grab some scissors, give them to the kids, and cut some flowers. Just hack them off. And there's some strelitzias there I've just got growing in the garden, but I thought may as well bring them inside and bring a bit of that nature inside the house, put them in a vase, and there you go, got some strelitzias in the house. Not a bad thing to do. And there's a big shout out to all grandmas. Go grandmas, you rock. Well done. Well, here's one of the passions I've got, which is beekeeping. And a couple of years ago, I got myself one of these very clever flow hives from down Byron and set up my own little bee setup in my yard. There's a great shot of bees naturally forming honeycomb, and there it is, a naturally formed comb with the bees putting honey and building their hive up. So we started off. Sometimes you can add this foundation to the frame to help them come along, and there's a great shot of the queen with all the little workers having a chat to her. They're much larger than the other ones, and that's how we separate them from getting into the top box. Here's the honey with capped wax over the top. That's when the honey is dried out and sufficient. And there's just me with the brood box on the bottom and the super on the top. So that's my hive up and running, quite established. As you can see here, there's the honey in the top of the flow hive frames with the capped honey. And all those orange little bits are pollen and food for the little grubs inside. That's a great example there of a really well formed capped honey frame. And in this case I chopped it up and made a honeycomb in tubs and honey with it as well. That's one way of getting the honey. I then decided to build another frame, to be or not to be. Put another box to increase the size of my hive. Got some etchings there, did the little queen bee and threw it on top, and that's my hive in full production with 2 brood boxes and 1 super on top. Honey started flowing in, quite a lot of honey there produced, pretty happy about that. Giving a lot of it away, friends and family, and here are all the bottles. Just used second-hand jars as I found them. And then I ran out of jars, had to use some old vodka bottles, topped up the old skull. And then all of a sudden I had trouble with my hive. The queen either got hit by a truck or were damaged somehow. Maybe a bird ate her, and then all of a sudden my hive was queenless. Then the bees started dying off, and then you start getting disease, and the hive slowly collapses. So my hive has collapsed, and I've now got to start all over again. Here's just a bit of a video of me showing you how the flow hive works and seeing my setup stages for the next level. So guys, this is the actual flow hive, this really clever invention that was done by those guys down at Byron. It's the plastic part of the frame called the super. It's got all these individual pieces along here. You put this lever down that hole down there, like so, and then you turn the handle and see how it all splits. All the cells split, and it allows the honey then to run vertically down like this into this main section, and then it comes out of the tube down here. So it's really minimal harm and minimal hassle to the bees, because this is all done while these are in situ inside the frame. You don't have to pull the frames out and do all the old-fashioned method of cutting all the wax off and so forth. So you put that back in this way, and then turn it. Once it's all empty, you just literally turn the handle. It resets like that, resets all the cells, and allows them, they just literally wax it back up and then fill it full of honey again, and you cap it and you're good to go. So a fantastic invention, adopted all around the world by these really clever guys. So that's how the actual clever flow frame works. But as you can see, because of the death of my hive, this is what we've got, just a base, which has got a stainless steel grid at the bottom. You put this in here, it just allows it to catch any dirt, and you can pull out, you've got your beetle traps and stuff underneath there to protect the bees. You literally put the first box, which is called the brood box, it sits on the top like that. And in my case, I've got to get a new hive. I've got to get so I've got to get a new hive. I need a new queen, about maybe 5,000 bees, worker bees, and some drone bees in what they call a nuke or a nucleus. And I'll get 4 frames like this. Now these frames here have been naturally made by bees. As you can see, they've actually naturally made those start of those honeycomb cells. So I'll get them from a lady up north. She's got a great bee supply up there. So I'll get the nuke, bring this box up, put the 4 in, and then they'll slowly build up. And as they go, I'll stack these across and put 8 frames in the bottom, just the brood. And then once we're up and running, we grab what we call the super. Put the super on top, and the super is where you have these frames here, the flow height frames. You can have a look through the side and see how they're going through the process. And that's what we're going to have to do. It's a shame, but these things happened. I think the Queen said before might have got hit by a car or even by a bird or something. Became queenless, and with only 6 weeks to live for bees, they naturally die out and you have to start again. So that's the process I'm under. A bit hard to get up there and get them with the coronavirus going on at the moment, but that's the plan, to get the bees back and running, get back in honey production.
I heard you had a joke for us, Nana. What is it?
I've forgotten.
And here we have June's joke of the day.
Good morning, everyone. A little joke for today. Young man went into the barber to have a haircut. And he said to the barber, I'll have it short one side and a bit longer on the other side. And then he said, you can zigzag it at the back of my neck. And then you can take a couple of bits out the top of it. The barber looked at him and said, I can't do that. And the young man said, well, you did it the last time I came.